Thank
you.
טוב, אחת שאלתי מאת אדוני, שיבתי בבית אדוני כל ימי חיי. David HaMelech says, one thing that I ask, one thing only, to sit in the house of God all the days of my life. And so we begin this discourse with first understanding that there is the body and then there is the life energy, the vitality within the body. Vehitlabshut kochot hanefesh be'erev haguf im heyot shehem bebechinat chiyut el haguf mikol makom harei hem ba'im behagshama lefi ofen evarei haguf vekochot hativ'im. So the vitality that animates and gives life to every living being, that energy, that life energy, that vitality must be adapted, must be controlled, must be diminished according to the vessel that it will animate. That we are not all created equal. Sorry. The same amount of life force and energy that you receive is not the same life force and energy that an ant crawling on the ground receives. That the energy that the ant receives is much, much, much more diminished and adapted for the needs of that animal. Each living being needs his energy, the life energy, perfectly suited for them. And the best way to understand this is like Goldilocks, the three bears. Okay? Papa Bear likes it hot. Mama Bear, it would be ludicrous to think that what I need is the same thing that an elephant needs, or what a tree needs, or what a galaxy needs. Each one according to what they need. So that's kind of like the basis for this, because understanding that there is a dynamic of how God's infinite light and energy now goes through this process of adapting itself and diminishing itself and converting itself into a way that every individual living being is able to receive exactly the way it needs. How do you go from such infinite energy and power to something so finite and so specialized and unique? והנה כשם שהאור באור וחיות הנפש בגוף, כמו כן הוא באור וחיות אלוקי שבנבראים. And so too, not just with every living, not just with yourself, that every part of your body needs a different level of energy, so it is with every living being, with every creature. דגם שזהו בחינת הצורה והאור שבנבראים, that even though this is what we call the tsura, that Kabbalistically speaking, there's two kind of main concepts that we usually refer to. Something is called chomer. We have something called chomer. Chomer. Oh, of course.
Keeps it exciting.
Yeah. We have something called chomer. הנה כחומר ביד היוצר. So the word for clay is called chomer. I mean, chomer material. I was looking for something like this because the other program didn't give me like the block edges. It was the round edges, and I hate that. The chisel tip. That's what I need. The chisel tip. So I just got used after teaching for so many years with a chisel tip on whiteboard. Like that's how I write. Okay, so that's chomer. That's the material. So you have something called chomer, and then you have down here chomer, and then you have tsura. Tsura. So chomer is material, and the tsura is it literally means form, yeah? But Kabbalistically speaking, what we're referring to is the spirituality, the soul. We'll just say the soul. Okay, so this is the body and the soul. Tsura is the soul, and chomer is the body. So every living being has a body and has a soul. Not just you and me, but any created being, in order to exist, must have a soul within it. Even rocks have a soul, meaning, we don't call it soul, it's a misnomer. When we think soul, we think of, soul. But when we mean tsura, it's like the animating life force and the energy that is projecting that thing into existence. Okay? So דאגם שזהו בחינת הצורה והאור שבנבראים. So if you want, we can really use these in synonymous terms, that this will be the or, and this will be the kli. Yeah? Light. And this is the vessel. Okay? So these are all interchangeable words. מכל מקום להיות שההערה זו באה בבחינת התלבשות ממש בהם, הרי זה בא בבחינת הגשמה לפי ערך הנבראים. That the light must come according to its vessel. That depending what the vessel is, will determine the light that comes into it. Like, for example, your eyes. So the life and the energy, the vitality of your eyes is perfectly configured for sight. Okay? Which is why you see with your eyes and you don't see with your ears, for example. Your ears have a different faculty. That there is specific energy that has been adapted and converted that is necessary for hearing. And that is according to the vessel of the ear.
Are these physical frequencies or are they spiritual frequencies?
They're spiritual frequencies that are becoming physical. That the spiritual must become adapted to the physical. The or must be adapted to the kli. That the or will always change according to the vessel. If the vessel changes, so will the light.
By the time it gets down to asiya, it's physical frequencies. It's like something you could measure with an instrument.
Yeah, we don't have that technology now, but they will. That's like the next level. Science will develop technology that they will be able to perceive what's called the or pnimi, the mimale kol almin, the energy, the light that is giving the will, the conscious will that is putting all of these frequencies into existence. Why does it want this and not that? Why is it like this and not like that? Where does that come from? Yeah. So now, science understands it just to be random, mindless. Yeah. But they will soon be able to develop the energy that they're feeling is consciously projecting that into being. Right? Melo haaretz da'at Hashem, that the whole world will be covered with the knowledge of God, like the waters cover the seas. So that's what we're talking about. Okay. Yes. And so too, don't think we're just talking about what's happening in the physical dimensions, okay? In the realm of space and time, the physical cosmos, but also in the spiritual realms as well. The supernal beings, if you will. Kmo, ofanim, v'chayot, v'serafim. That there are three categories of intelligent, conscious beings, okay, that we call angels and the world calls aliens, okay? That they're searching for something. There's life out there, okay, which is true. I don't know if they have the big heads and the big eyes like everybody thinks, but there is definitely other life out there besides human beings that we know without a shadow of a doubt. That's a very basic Jewish theology. So they're not aliens, but they are spiritual beings, conscious, and they have a will. They have parameters of how they are able to operate. They are not completely autonomous creatures like man is. But they do have a level of ability to choose within the parameters that were set for them. Right, like a lion can choose, like, I feel like deer today, or I feel like I'm gonna have a gazelle, or you know what, I feel like having elephant today. Yeah, that's a choice the lion can make, right? Do I go after the elephant or do I have to go after the gazelle? Okay, but the lion to say, I think I'm gonna have a cappuccino, that the lion will not say. That's not in the parameters of what a lion is. That's not in its sphere. So we have these supernal beings called malachim, angels. Literally, malach is a messenger. The word angel is just kind of it's not the correct word to use. They transfer energy from one place to another place. That's their function. They're called ofanim v'chayot v'srafim sheklulim gam ken michomer v'tzura, and so they too have chomer v'tzura. They too have a body and a soul. Not a physical body, but they also have a body, a vessel, meaning the purpose for which they were created, that they have certain characteristics or attributes. That can also be their chomer, but they have the tzura, the energy that animates them as well. לגבי כמו שהוא טרם שמתלבש בתוכם. And so the golden rule is like this, okay? Well, we have the source of the energy, huh? Yeah. We have the source of the energy, okay? So we have, we'll just call it, for all intents and purposes, we have the source of energy, okay? Energy, source, yeah? And that source descends in order to give every individual living being its chiyut, okay? And so now by the time it makes its way into the actual vessel itself, yeah? This is the individual created being, the kli. By the time the energy has left its source, by the time it reaches here, it is greatly diminished, much less. Here, okay, much less here than it is at its source. Incomparably different, that the energy, the soul of that being at its source is infinitely greater, or I should not say infinitely greater, but totally uncomparable. Uncomparable? Incomparable. Incomparable to the energy as it actually enters into the kli, into the vessel. Okay? Why is that important for us? Yeah. Right. So we said these angels, these malachim, they are aware. They are very, very conscious. Okay? They are aware of what? They're aware that their soul is animating them at every single moment of existence. They feel their soul. We don't feel our soul sometimes. It's something that we're not totally aware of. I don't feel the energy and the vibration that is projecting me into existence at this very moment. Maybe you do. I certainly do not. But the malachim do. The malachim do. And they feel the energy that is animating their being into existence at every moment causes them to go into, in Hebrew, what we call hitpa'alut. Hitpa'alut. Or hispalus. Hispa'alus. Hispa'alus. If you're that inclined. If you're Ashkenaz. From my Ashkenazi brothers and sisters out there. if you live in Tzfas, then he's palulus. He's palulus. Hitpa'alut. Hitpa'alut literally can mean excitement. It literally means movement. We use it in the term excited. Okay? But the word pa'al, literally means move. Pa'al means to work, a worker, a mover.
To do.
To do. Po'el. Well, that's like, yeah. Po'el is something that does, that works, that moves, that, yeah?
To be caused to do.
Hitpa'alu is yeah, well, he's moving himself.
Okay.
Litpa'el. Litpa'el, right, is that I'm praying myself, right? But hitpa'alut means that I'm becoming excited. I'm moving me. A po'el, a worker, like a day laborer, okay? When you hire somebody to do a job, they're called a po'el. Po'el. But, so they're moving something else, meaning they're working something external. But hitpa'alut means I'm moving myself, which means getting excited. So these malachim, when they become aware that this energy is constantly flowing to them, they become very, very excited. Very ecstatic, and very, what's the word? They go into dvekus. Not a dvekus.
Sounds like electrons that get excited from one level to the other, and then when they fall back down, they give up energy in the form of light.
Interesting, okay.
Say it again?
Electrons are in the outer shells, and when you punch energy into them, it pops the energy up to a higher energy level, okay? And when you take the energy off, then it falls back down again, and when it falls back down, it gives off photons, which is light.
Yeah.
So that's how you make that up there.
Okay.
Cool.
But it has to do with energy sources coming in and getting things excited.
So they're aware. They're definitely aware of that energy source. Cool. And that makes them extremely, extremely excited. Woo-hoo-hoo. Can you imagine if you could just feel the energy vibrating inside of you now?
Like incandescently?
Incandescently. And not only that, but he says not only are they aware of the energy as it is contained within them in its diminished and adapted form, but they are also aware of it at its source. They can feel what it is like at its source because it's like one continuous stream, so they can like follow that stream back up. And what that causes them to do is to go absolutely berserk. They just go, it's just like, it's like having like like just cranking up the what's it called, the seizure, when you're having like an epileptic like seizure or something like that, right? No, so we did talk about this. You even sent me a GIF, right? We were just turning it all the way up, right? Because they're getting the energy when it's down here, which is like level 2, level like 3, right? But at its source, it's like plus 10,000, and they feel it there, and it's like, you can't handle that juice.
Sounds like stars.
You can't handle that juice. What?
They have the kli to contain it.
They don't have the kli to contain it, okay. And that's why it drives them insane. It drives them mad, because they're not able to contain it.
Sounds like stars.
What do you mean stars?
Stars.
But here, but the stars they're down here.
I understand.
Stars are even lower.
I understand. They're already in the physical world.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is what animates a star?
What?
Nuclear fusion.
I'm asking, what animates?
You got to ask the doctor. I don't know. Professor, what is a
spiritually what animates a star? Right.
The same thing that's animating the malach. The same thing that's animating you. But just on a different level.
Never mind.
Okay. All right. אוקיי, וכמו שכתוב, התפעלות המלאכים והרצון שלהם, שלבד זאת שמשיגים איך שהתהוותם הוא מעין ליש, רק על ידי הערה לבד. That like, this is not even like, where's my eraser? Do I have an eraser? It's not even, what? No eraser? It's not even, it's not even light. It's just it's a ray of light. Yeah? It's a ray. This is the actual light itself. And the energy, by the time it comes into the actual physical vessel, the spiritual vessel, whatever it is, that's just a ray of this light. It's not even light itself, it's just a ray of light. It's just an emanation, right? So imagine like the sun, and then just like the rays of the sun penetrating down here. You feel the rays of the sun, you don't feel the sun itself. Yeah? So this is not only are they excited because they are feeling the ray of light, that is the energy that they actually contain down here. That is called ziv v'ha'ara, just an illumination. Levad zot, hine kol echad ve'echad mehem, ro'eh u'mesig, each one of them sees and attains and experiences. Achayut shelo ha'mehave u'mechayeh oto, sees the energy and light that is bringing them into existence at every moment, me'ain liyesh, from its source. Literally, they see that they do not have an independent existence. That every moment, they are literally being brought into existence. They are just an emanation. They're like a hologram. And the source of that light is coming from its source. And they understand that, and they attain that, and they see that. And they understand and they realize that they do not have an independent existence. Meaning that their life is totally dependent on this source.
Is it just because we're farther away and Hashem is more cloaked here and he's less cloaked there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Once you get past like us, like up to the level of stars, there is when you start to become aware. Ooh, FYI, stars are conscious. Stars are conscious. And so they already know, they feel it. And then of course the angels, which are much higher, they feel it as well. And the higher you go, the more you feel it. Yeah? And so basically what that does is that sends them into a state of total nullification. Like they go out of their minds because realizing, wow, I don't really exist. Or my existence is totally dependent on Hashem's light at every moment. You know what that would do for your ego?
Bittle.
Yeah. How would you like to feel how you do not really exist as an independent being?
Blessings. What a blessing.
Yeah. I mean, for us, because we're all in Sfat, and that's the kind of stuff we're into. But can you imagine telling that to 7 billion people? Sorry, you're just a hologram.
Can you say Geula?
Yeah. So, so just like the sun, the rays of the sun, when they're included in the sun, there it's even greater. The power of the sun is greater when it's at the source, when it's in the sun, rather than when it has to now illuminate to like thousands of light years away, right? I don't know if it's actually thousands of light years. You know how far the sun is from us?
13 minutes. 93 million.
Light years? No, kilometers. Miles. Okay.
Yeah, it takes 8 seconds for the light.
For light?
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that there's a source of light where this energy, because I don't know what else to call it, is concentrated, and the farther you go away from it, the more it becomes dispersed. Like it's
I don't know what you mean disperse. I don't know what you mean dispersed.
The light, so you get it's all together here, but then it splits into rays, and there's actually something in between that's like a null space where there is no Because that's what it implies. If this is a ray,
Yeah.
there's 4 rays here, there's something in between that's called a null space, it's empty. There's nothing there.
Fine. I don't know. I'd have to think.
So the farther you go, the bigger those null spaces get,
Yeah.
and the more sparse the rays get.
No,
Is
you're
that what
you're
saying?
thinking.
But then that-
step-down mechanism.
It's a step-down mechanism because there can't be empty space.
Like
Right,
from the
right.
There can't be anything void of godliness. There must be energy in all. It totally fills
So
creation.
is it like the power plant and then the
Yeah.
transformers?
That's exactly what. That's a lot more like Atzilut or Malchut of Atzilut. That's where it's coming from. As it descends into the lower it goes, it might travel from like one station to another station. I mean, that's what it does. This is called Bria. This is called Yetzira,
Yeah.
right? And finally it comes into our world, which is called Asiya. So whatever world you're in, whatever dimension you exist in, that you're receiving that energy as it is, like at that level. Yeah. Whereas, each one is gonna feel a different level of that energy. They're more conscious of it. They're more aware of it. But what he's saying here is that those beings, even though this is the energy that each one of them is receiving down here, they all feel their energy at the source itself. And they understand that they do not have any independent existence. So for example,
They know they're plugged in.
so think of like someone who plays the flute, okay? As long as they blow that instrument, they're going to close a certain hole, it's going to make a note. So imagine the note as an angel. Think of the note as a human being. That the note does not exist by itself. The note's existence is 100% dependent on the flute blower. As soon as he stops blowing, you're gone. They're aware of that. Okay? So imagine Hashem is the flutist. Okay? And we're the notes. And we're the God's nigun. We're this cosmic nigun that is constantly being played. And God doesn't take a break. God's always singing.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem.
Baruch
God's always singing, God's always playing that flute for that song to exist at all times.
And we pray back to Him.
And if He
sings
stopped,
even more.
and if He stopped, then we would cease to exist. They feel that.
they're aware of that.
They're aware of that. We're not. That's the difference. So what's the meditation? For us to become aware of that. Ooh. Vehine. ושם הוא באופן העלה יותר והוא בחינת ביטול בתכלית. It's ממש total nullification. It's total like you cease to exist at that level. וכמו שכתוב חיות כל הנבראים נמצא וכלול בבחינת מלכות דאצילות. So where is the source? It's Malchut Atzilut. This is our mother. She is the one that is singing. So it's not dad who's singing, it's mom who's singing. But I mean, that's also like quite idolatrous. But Hashem is one. Hu echad ushmo echad. But there's like Hashem to himself, and there's Hashem as how he relates to to us, to the world, to the creation. Hashem to himself is what we call Havaya. Right? Havaya.
Okay.
Huh?
It's not ready.
Come in a second, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm just writing.
Trust, but sometimes it comes out.
So it's we call that Havaya. Yeah, that's called Havaya. But how Hashem relates to something other than Him, that's what we call the Malchut. Or that's what we call the Shekhinah. Shekhinah, which we translate to like divine presence, but what that means literally is dwelling. It means to dwell. Lishkon, shechen. A neighbor is called a shechen. Same root. means to dwell. To himself, self, and this is how Hashem relates to others. So that's called Malchut Atzilut. That's where the source of all creation comes from.
Still blue.
Right? Interesting.
Weird. Interesting.
כמו שכתוב בעץ חיים. So he's quoting the Arizal in the עץ חיים. שיש כל מיני דצח באצילות. That there's all kinds. So in the world of Atzilut, remember, the world of Atzilut is where Hashem is to himself. We exist in the lower worlds of Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya, but Atzilut, it's only Hashem. And so the Arizal says that in the world of Atzilut, there also exists animate, what we call datzach. Datzach is, we'll call it inanimate, animate, vegetable, and animal.
Of course.
Okay?
Gotta have.
So this is called datzach. It's, you guys want the actual words? It's called domem. So mach and chai. Yeah? Datzach. See it? Dalet tzadik chet domem tzadik. And then of course you have Adam, which is man. So inanimate objects and vegetables and animals, I totally get down here in the world of Atziyah, in the world of Asiyah, okay? You have a rock, I get that. But what does it mean, a rock, in the world of Atzilut? How does a rock exist in the world of Atzilut? וכמו שהמלכות נקראת בשם סלע ואבן ובשם שושנה וכו'. Okay, so I remember we did go over this. That the Malchut of Atzilut has different names. One of the names she has is called Evan. Yeah? Another name is called Sela. Another name she has is called Shoshana. Yeah? What is an Evan? Oops.
A rock.
Evan is a rock. What is a Sela?
Also right.
Big rock. A boulder. What is Shoshana?
A rose.
A rose. That's right. A rose with any other name? How's that go?
Be a Shoshana.
Be a Shoshana. So she's also called Shoshana. These are all names for the Malchut. How? So what's the meaning of this? והיינו שאותו הזיו והחיות הנמשך ממנו יתברך להחיות האבן דביה. So too the energy, the light that comes into the lower worlds of Bia to actually animate this rock. Okay? This rock, the energy has to flow through the worlds, right? To be able to come to the rock. הנה הוא מלובש בגימל אותיות אבן. That first, וזהו בחינת אבן דאצילות. And so this rock, how do you say rock in Hebrew? Evan. Okay?
But the letters don't literally exist in Atzilut.
The energy that the letter represents does. Okay? This is why we say that God creates by speaking. Vaidaber Adonai al Moshe Lamor, right? Vayomer Elohim yehi or veyor. the speech, meaning that the Malchut of Atzilut, what?
Some kind of vibration.
It's the energy that the letter embodies. That every letter has a specific vibrational energy to it, a vibrational frequency to it. And that if you take these specific combinations of vibrations, then it will create this thing called an Evan. You take an Aleph, the energy of the Aleph, and put it next to the Bet, and put it next to the Nun, that will create Evan. And so that is at the source, that those three letters, they emanate from the source. Those energies emanate from the letter, and the lower they become more crystallized and more physical. Yeah? דהיינו, הנה הוא מלובש בגימל אותיות אבן, וזהו בחינת אבן דאצילות. And this is so what it means. How's there a rock in the world of Atzilus? How's there a rock in the world of Atzilut? It's not a rock like we understand a rock, but it's those three letters. Those do exist, like in the mouth of God, so to speak. It's like before he says the word rock exists in his mind. Yeah? He doesn't have to speak it. He still knows, he still has a rock. This is the vitality, the energy of the rock. So it is for the rest of the names that the Malchut is called. So all of the energy, the vitality of every living being is rooted in the Malchut of Atzilut. No matter who you are, or what you are. Huh?
Including Adam?
Including Adam. Huh?
I thought just that stuff you said.
In every, also person. There's
Not just that stuff.
No, I said here, man.
Yeah, you said that, but when you said it originally,
Also
you said
Adam.
just that stuff.
Also man.
Okay.
That the
Can I
end.
ask a question about this? To use your power plant analogy,
Yeah.
I understand that we believe that by combining certain sounds or letters, like saying a prayer, that affects things on high.
Correct.
And to me, using that analogy, would be like turning on and off a switch here will affect the power plant, but it doesn't really. So how is it possible that the actions that we do by combining letters, Kabbalistically, or however you want to say,
Right.
prayers, makes an effect in the world of Atzilut?
Okay. Are you cute enough? So Amir lives down here in the world of Asiyah, okay? And Amir has certain vitality that is animating his self, his being right here, right? But this is just the smallest part of Amir's soul. Where does Amir really exist? In the world of Atzilut. You're not pushing a switch down here, you're pushing a switch up there.
That I'm saying the words here.
You're saying the words here, but you are connected back to your source. That there's the soul, the consciousness has one continuous stream. And so even though you are doing a physical action here, it's like sending an impulse back to the root that is affecting what is happening at the root level, in the control room.
You're logging into the mainframe. You might be typing down here. You enter your password and you enter the commands down here, right? You say transfer, $300. But you're not transferring $300 down here. It's going to the mainframe, and that's where the action's taking place.
And there may be different, like in the nervous system, there's a different set of nerves that carry impulses out, and a different set of nerves that carry it back. And the ones that carry it back are a whole lot more like quick, like more immediate.
Right.
So you feel and then. So anyway.
Yeah. So when you move your
Words
toe,
and actions affect things.
absolutely, because you're rooted in the source. Your consciousness is simultaneously existing at the source. We never left the source, and so that's what we talk about: our soul roots, or the mazel, or connecting to the higher aspects of the soul. Right? We have.
There's really no distance.
There's no distance.
Draw it as distance.
We draw it as distance because that's how we relate to it. But there is no distance. There is no distance. It's right here. The world of Atzilut is right here.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of perception. It's just a matter of consciousness. We're not consciously aware of it. Our consciousness is very, very limited. It's very perceptive. And so when we talk about the levels of the soul, there's the nefesh, yeah, which is the lowest part of the soul. That's the part of the soul that actually like enters into the physical body itself. Yeah, this is the body. And that's just the nefesh. But beyond the nefesh, you have the ruach and the neshama. These are higher levels of your consciousness. And ultimately, the chaya, and then ultimately the yechida. Yeah? And so that energy has to flow through each one of these levels by the time it gets to here. So what you're feeling is only the nefesh. But within the nefesh, within that conscious, the energy that is animating the life force is in the yechidah. This is just concealed. This is called revealed. This is more revealed. And this is concealed. That's all it is. At the level of yechidah is total unity with the Creator. This is where there is only Ein Sof, only Ein Sof,
which is more unity than in Atzilut, you would say.
Which is more unity. Well, I mean,
Step down when you get revealed.
Yeah, these all belong to the world of Atzilut, in Yechidah and
What do
Atzilut.
you have conceal on the top and reveal at the bottom?
Because we're relating to our consciousness here, at the level of the body. Right now, you and me, we're having this conversation right here. And so the nefesh is more revealed in the body than the Yechidah
Oh,
is.
the nefesh is more revealed.
Yeah.
Are these
Not
not
a
the
ship.
worlds?
Yes.
That you described?
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be. This is going to be Asiya. This is going to be Yetzira. This is going to be Bariya. Chaya is going to be Atzilut. And this is going to be Adam, Kadmon. Yeah. And then you just have Ein Sof. So, I mean, this is mapping on these different levels, but it's all a matter of how much we're able to consciously perceive that or not. You don't have to go thousands of light years above and beyond the cosmos to be able to reach the world of Atzilut. Because thinking in that kind of, thinking in linear space and time, that only exists in this dimension. Beyond this dimension, there is no space and time, so where are you trying to get to? It's a matter of consciousness, it's a matter of awareness, of perception, meaning it's all right here, just our consciousness is so limited, what we call mochin de katnut. It's so constricted, it's so limited that it does not perceive anything beyond the physicality of the world. You know? So you exist down here, but you exist just as much up there. I mean, it's not even saying up there. When we use the terms up and down, spiritually speaking, okay, this is just a good rule of thumb, that the lower you are, okay, this is called lower, and this is called higher. The lower you, but here this is where it's a little different. Here, this is where it's going to be concealed. Okay, what does it mean to be lower? To be lower means to be in a state of concealment. The higher you go, the more it's revealed. The more you become aware of it. So when we say high and low, the higher worlds, the upper worlds, the supernal worlds, or the lower worlds, we're not talking about physically, space and time. We're talking about levels of conscious perception of the light of God that is projecting all of this into existence. The lower I am, the less I perceive. The higher I am, the more I perceive. Okay? So the angels, all right, so if we're all the way down here, okay, Adam, physical Adam, right? And then you have like the cosmos.
They're just more aware.
And then you have the, I don't even like saying angels, we're just going to call them malachim. Yeah. And you have all like different levels of malachim until they finally get to Malchut, which is the source of the energy, right? Malchut of Atzilut. So they're considered higher. They exist in the higher worlds. They're called the supernal beings. Why? Because they're more aware of it than we are. The higher you are, the more aware you are. The lower you are, the less aware you are. That's what we call the higher worlds and lower worlds. And so when Hasidus comes and says that the purpose of creation is to make a dwelling place for him in the lower worlds, that's down here in the place that has the most concealed consciousness, the most constricted consciousness, we need to reveal it down here in this world. And so this is our goal. It's to bring that awareness down here.
Raising consciousness.
I would say bringing consciousness down. I wouldn't say raising consciousness. I'd say downloading consciousness. Because raising consciousness could mean, or what I used to think it meant, like just transcending the physical world, like not needing, just like being beyond the physical world again. That's how I thought it. That's what I thought it meant, like raising consciousness, yeah, so that we will not need these things that we have in the physical world. But again, it's bringing it down. We want to bring the consciousness dafka into this world, into this lower world. I would think that if I raise consciousness, I wouldn't need a Mercedes and a swimming pool.
You don't need those things.
Depends how you use them.
It depends.
No,
yeah.
You don't need them.
So
You don't need them.
right. But that would mean that if I was on a higher, if I was in an enlightened Buddhist state of consciousness, then I wouldn't have those things,
You're
right? I wouldn't have those things. But dira b'tachtoni means that that those things can be used to serve the divine purpose, right?
Have your cake and eat it too, especially on Shabbos.
So it's not for me, but it's for the king. When the king sends emissaries around the world, ambassadors, those ambassadors do not represent themselves. They represent the king. And so the ambassador, it wouldn't look so good if he showed up to the ball with all the kings and the queens and stuff. He showed up in a Honda Civic. It's it's disrespectful for the king. But what do you mean? The king's 1,000 million miles away. No. You represent the king. You are the living embodiment of the king here. You have been given full, what's it called? When you are acting in the power of the king. Power of attorney. Mm-hmm. You represent the king down here in this physical world. You need a Mercedes. You need a big place, because when people see you, they don't see you, they see the king. And that if you are not in a state of physical wealth, financially, just physical wealth, then that's not good for the king, because that will not. It's the same thing with your health. If you're sick, then that's like the king's sick too. The king can't do his job. Because you're the ambassador of the king. You need to be serving the king. You need to be doing what the king has sent you to this world to do. And if you're stuck in bed, then you cannot do that. And so that is not fit for an emissary. You can't be sick. So financial abundance, health, right? All like life, vitality, and like the highest level, this is bringing down godly consciousness down here, knowing that all of the physicality of the world is not for me, but it is for the king. It is not in my honor, but it is in honor of the king.
Can I ask you a question? So you mentioned before that there was a revolution that took place when Atzilut came along,
Right.
As opposed to what we had before in Judaism. Does it have to do with this idea that it's more revealed and concealed without a change in location, as opposed to a really like almost linear type where there is a real distance between us and the heavenlies?
So,
Or
what?
I mean,
Before Chassidut, there was you and you alone. You live down here, and you need to serve the king. That's it. That's all you got to do. Serve the king. Why do you have to serve the king? Because you don't want to get punished by the king. He's going to throw you in a dungeon, right? And so you have to serve the king, so you'll get your reward, and you will not be punished. And where do you get your reward? That's after you die, in the world to come. But where are you? Where's the king? You have no, you have no contact with the king other than the fact that you're in the trenches and you're doing the work that you need to be doing. That's pre-Chassidus, pre-Baal Shem Tov. Post-Baal Shem Tov, the Hasidic revolution is like, through serving the king, you reveal that the king is not up here, but the king is also right here. That really this is the world of Atzilut. That all of this is Atzilut. It's all Ein Sof. That there is nothing but the king. And don't think that by living in a physical, material world that you are light years away from being in the presence of God. But in everything that you do, everywhere that you go, you are constantly in the presence of God. That's Chassidus. Yeah? That's called Gilui Elokuto Itbarach, revealing the unity of God in the world. Revealing the unity of God in the world means that there's Shem within all of creation. That was very problematic from a philosophical point of view, because that was getting a little getting too Spinoza there. Right? It's pantheistic. What do you mean? God is in the world, God is in nature. The Baal Shem Tov says, when you're looking at nature, you're looking at God. Heresy. How could you say such a thing? When you're looking at nature, you're looking at God? What do you mean? God is nature? God is within nature. God is not just nature. God exists beyond. But when you were looking at nature, you were definitely looking at God. It's not limited to nature. That's pantheism. But Panentheism is where everything is in. God is within everything. Just as much as God is revealed in the supernal world of Atzilut. Just you do not perceive that, but that doesn't make a difference. The truth is, God's right here. And all you need to do is think about that. If you really spent time cultivating this awareness, it will change your life. It will change your life. It will affect every aspect of how you eat, who you talk, everything that you do. Knowing that right now you are in the palace of the king. I don't have to wait till after I die. We learned this before, right? With the talis. That when you do a mitzvah, you are literally like in the essence of the Creator at this very moment. But I'm only in the world of asiyah, and like the lowest part. No, it doesn't matter. Essence of the Creator is right here. How do I access that? That's called a mitzvah. And so that's what the Baal Shem Tov brought to the table. That anyone can do a mitzvah. Anyone can do a mitzvah. Doesn't matter how smart you are. Doesn't matter how rich you are. Anyone who chooses to, whenever they want, can connect to the essence of the infinite light of the Creator. Bam. Oh, you mean I don't have to wait till after I die? No. I don't have to wait till the resurrection of the dead? No. That right now, in this very moment, you're there. Well, how come I don't feel it? That's a $1 million question, right? How come I don't feel it? So, if you want to continue to be a slave to your emotions, then you can continue to chase after the instant gratifications of the physical world. It's not going to end good for you. You're never going to get satisfied. Feeling gratified, satisfied, whatever it is. That doesn't happen. So if you let that go and you just allow your mind to revel in the fact that even though I'm such a coarse, base beast, animal, and I don't feel God, I don't feel the essence of God, and you let all of that go and you just revel in the fact that when you do a mitzvah, whatever mitzvah it is, that in that state you have transcended your animal, you have transcended your ego, you have transcended all of creation, and you are literally in a state of total and complete unity with the infinite light of the Creator in this very moment, even if you don't feel it. That's probably one of the most extraordinary lessons I think I ever learned and could ever share with somebody. Because if you believe the Torah is true, and this is a big if, I mean, you have to buy into this whole Torah is real thing. Right? Because otherwise I could just be making it up just like any other religion. But if you believe God is true, and if you believe Torah is real, and you believe in the tzaddikim, emunas chachamim, you believe what the tzaddikim are saying, you believe in Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, you believe in the Arizal, you believe in the Baal Shem Tov, that this, what they're saying is true, how could this not be a total paradigm shift in your life? How could this not affect every single moment that you exist? Knowing that whenever I want, wherever I want, I can merge and unite and totally dissolve and connect into the infinite light of God. But I'm not that smart. I haven't read so much Gemara. I'm actually not such a good person. I'm very impatient. I get angry. I have all kinds of thoughts about non-holy things. I eat more than I should. So this is where we say, calm down, buddy. Calm down. Don't give yourself so much credit. Don't think that all of the schmutz that you have has the power to block out God. No schmutz could ever block out the light of Hashem. And so even if you are filled to the brim with schmutz, when you choose to do a mitzvah, you're there. You're there. Why? That's your inheritance. Or that's the contract you signed, if you will. But it doesn't matter. You're a Jew. You have inherited that ability, that capacity, at any moment, in any place, to totally transcend and go beyond reality into a state of total unity with the infinite Ein Sof.
But you're going to do that when you let go completely of your ego, right?
You let go of the ego when you stop saying, but I don't feel it. But I don't feel it. I don't feel it. Who cares? That's the reality of what's happening right now. So the fact that my animal consciousness has totally blocked out that experience, who cares? The light of Hashem is still penetrating to every core, every nerve, every fiber of my being. but my consciousness doesn't experience it, so what? Forget about your animal soul for a second. And just understand that Hashem is mamish embracing you at this very moment. If you put that aside and just allow Hashem to wow! If you do that enough and you internalize that, that might put you into an epileptic state of ecstasy and bliss. Not because of the direct perception of the light, because let's face it, we still know who you are, right? Right? We still know all the schmutz you have. So it's not going to be a direct perception of the light, but it will be an indirect perception of light because you know that's what's happening, regardless of how much schmutz you have. And that indirect perception is the gift that we have been given. This is the whole secret of Kabbalah and Hasidus, allowing us to be able to understand that. Because before, I would have thought, I'm so schmutzy, I'm not worthy, maybe if I do enough mitzvahs, and after I die, then I'll get a good seat at the show. But after Kabbalah and Hasidus is no. Right now, you're there. You're backstage. You're hanging out in the green room with the Creator in an infinite bond and connection that is infinitely greater than any Gan Eden you could possibly imagine. Is this making any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay. So we're going to stop. We'll stop here.
Yasher